All right. Yes, we are live.
Okay.
Perfect. So thank you so much, participants, for joining in. And I'm so sorry for the technical glitch that we faced for the last 7 minutes or so. Raisa is with me. Raisa is a proud pharmacist. She has done her MPharm in pharmacognosy. She worked as a medical writer for quite some time in the pharmaceutical industry. She worked with some of the leading brands, of course. And then she thought of getting into entrepreneurship. So this session is all about how to get started if you are a pharmacognosy professional into medical writing. And of course, Raisa will share her journey to entrepreneurship. That is what, before even starting the presentation, maybe I'll request Raisa to quickly maybe share her entrepreneur journey for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And then we'll start with the presentation. Is that okay, Raisa? Welcome.
Yeah, that is okay.
All
Completely
right,
fine.
perfect. Perfect. So you may stop sharing the screen for maybe 2 minutes. Please
Okay.
share, after your M-Farm, what are the different options you had and why medical writing? That is
Okay.
one part. That because, as pharmacognosy professionals, we have a lot of myths to be busted. I'm
Yeah.
sure you'll cover that in the presentation. And then we'll, get into the presentation that you have prepared for us today. Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
perfect. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for such a nice introduction. So, about pharmacognosy and then this medical writing career. First of all, I would say that a lot of pharmacognosy professionals, and even during our degree time, like after during our master's time, we have this thought that, okay, what will I do next? So, same was with me. There was not much awareness which we need to create about medical writing. So, what happened is I attended a conference. So, conferences, webinars, seminars, sessions are the best way to get to know about new things, where somebody, a speaker, spoke about medical writing. That time the most engaging part about medical writing for me was, oh, it's completely remote, because it was pre covid times, it was not covid or post covid times. So for me it was like, oh my god, I can work from anywhere across the world, I'll keep traveling and working. So that was one part. Another part that I loved about this thing is, normally in a 9 to 6 job, you feel like it's monotonous, you have to repeat the same thing again and again every single day. In medical writing, you get paid to learn new things. To read articles, you get paid. Of course, you have to write and create a document, that's a different thing. But just to read and learn, to gain knowledge, you are being paid. So that is what is the most interesting part about this job. So then once I got to know about this stream, like this as a career, I started searching for jobs. I started applying at all the possible places. Okay, but of course, nobody wants a fresher, or very few people wants a fresher. So it was really tough. So I tried publishing a few papers during my masters, because I knew that's the best way to showcase that, okay, I can write. So that's one of the very important step. So then I found a job by adding it to my CV that I have done something like this, and they took a test. Of course, there were a lot of people who applied for the same role. They gave a test and I cleared it. Then I moved on between different companies, and eventually I decided to start my own medical writing agency, because I believe that there are a lot of researchers who need support in writing. Either they don't have enough command over the English language, which is the most preferred language in medical writing, or they don't have time, because they are primarily researchers. They need to keep going and we need to support them, because research is more important, like the most important part. Like we need to have new medicines, new research, new data as we proceed in life. So covid was one of the examples, like how the importance of researchers. So that's when I started my agency named Lucid Writers Hub. You can check it out on website, like lucidwritershub.llp is the website, .com is the website, and Lucid Writers Hub LLP, there's a LinkedIn page on it. So
Absolutely. Thank you. So you support mostly the researchers?
I support both pharma companies. Pharma companies are also researchers, like they are into clinical research, finding new medicines. And I support academic researchers also. I support
Yeah,
any
yeah,
kind of researchers. And I also support marketing and promotional content, but that is comparatively less. I mainly support in writing publication and research documents. And sometimes people conduct research, they don't know how to write the thesis, so they write it, but they need support in formatting and how to make it look good, because eventually the document should look attractive. It should not just be like a lot of data which nobody likes to read. So I support them in such things also.
absolutely. I think a lot of pharmacy professionals would be watching us now, and of course after the session also they'll watch the replay. So if you are stuck in your formatting thesis or content, then you know whom to reach out now, right? So this is for all the pharmacy colleges, professionals, and also for industry professionals. If you're working on your project or thesis or synopsis, and if you need any kind of support, then please reach out to Raisa and she'll support you in whatever best ways she can. Thank you. Perfect. So let's get started with our presentation, Raisa, and
Okay,
we'll have the Q&A at the end of the session as well. Thank you.
so I'll share my screen.
Yeah, please.
Okay, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Yes.
Okay, so a very good evening to everyone. We will try to make it a very engaging session, not so boring, even though I will be speaking most of the time and Q&As will be in the end. But I'll try to keep you engaged by giving some new data, new information, and I hope you'll like it. So, from herbs to words, this title only like shows that pharmacognosy, like anybody thinks about pharmacognosy, it's mainly herbs. So, let's go to the next slide. I'll show you the importance of pharmacognosy. Okay. First is my career journey. So I did not have a better way to show my career journey. Okay, this is the most simplified form. Like I was researching in my master's lab, pharmacognosy lab, and then I entered into corporate job. And I've told you the details already. So it is not easy to get into medical writing, but not that tough too, if you are aware about certain things. And of course, it is not as boring as it looks, like you just sit in front of the laptop. Basically, you roam around the research labs and you roam around the world just by sitting in front of the laptop by reading. So it's that interesting. Now, the role of pharmacognosy. So, before we dive deeper, I really wanted to create awareness that value creates value. Okay. So, I've met a lot of students. Even I, as a student, I had this myth or inferiority complex, we can say. A lot of pharmacognosy students and professionals think that they are not as worthy as their pharmacology peers, because a lot of employers post medical writing jobs and say that preferred pharmacology, but that's not the case. The reason that employers must be doing, there could be different reasons. One of the reasons is during pharmacology masters or PhD, they definitely do that animal studies during which they write a protocol and they have that experience and exposure. So that is the reason. But you can also create your samples to show to the employer that you also have that kind of exposure. Okay, either you can conduct animal studies during your research, which I understand that it is not possible for every student to conduct animal research. So other than that, there are many other ways which I will be discussing in the subsequent slides. So yeah, here I have put some statistics just to boost your energy. Like you as a pharmacognosy professional can do a lot more. So around 85 to 90% of the world's population uses traditional medicine for combating diseases, and you are the one who's researching these traditional medicines in your lab. You are the one researching on herbs and a lot of natural products in your lab. So imagine the world population that is using it is so high, so the number of research available to write is also definitely high, right? So another thing is 35% of annual global medicine market is covered by is from natural products like plants, microorganisms and animals. So basically the nature is backbone of modern drugs. So as we advance in this field, it is important that we document and communicate these vital information accurately. I'm sure that during your college days or if you're working right now, you know that unless and until a research is published, okay, a research is available in public domain, it holds no value. Because if you conduct a research inside your lab and you know that XYZ drug is useful for ABC disease or XYZ drug is not useful for ABC disease, okay, that is also important, the negative research outcome, so that another researcher, another scientist will not waste that much time to do the same research. So you should always publish your research. Only after publishing it holds some value, that it is helping the society. Basically, it all ends with the society. We need to help the society as researchers. So yeah, as the field is advancing, as research is increasing, some good communicators, medical writers are required in between to communicate the data obtained from researchers to the public, okay, to everyone else in the world. So some researchers prefer to write it by themselves. Some researchers are so engaged, so busy in the lab that they cannot communicate. Okay, they need some support, and we are there to support them. Now, medical writing, the right career option. So here I would say I've written a few skills or a few uh, things that you should have, or if you have, then you become a good medical writer, you can become a good medical writer. But even if you don't have one of these skills, except from a science background, of course that is mandatory, but other than that, if you don't have any of these skills, then don't worry. As long as you're ready to learn, you're ready to upgrade, upskill, you're a good learner, you don't mind spending time upskilling yourself, building knowledge, gaining knowledge, then you can go ahead with this stream. So it is a blend of scientific expertise and communication. You need knowledge of healthcare background, which could be from pharmacy, which could be from BSc life science, BTech biotech, or MBBS, BAMS, BUMS, BHMS. There are so many. I might have missed a few. There are so many things. So, if you have a healthcare background, any science background, and you are a good communicator, preferred is both verbal and written. But if you're only a written, if you're a good communicator in terms of writing only, there are a lot of people who are not very comfortable speaking in public or speaking a lot, but they can write very well. Then also it's okay, you learn to speak in public over time. So, and if you're a quick learner, if you have an eye for detail, here with eye for detail I mean, so imagine 0.09 microgram is changed to 0.09 milligram in a paper, okay, so then that is such a big mistake, right? But a lot of people might miss it because that symbol of micro and m looks very much similar, and when we have a huge, like a 9-10 pager document to read, we might end up missing it, right? In fact, there are a lot of papers that I've seen before publication, of course, where there is data mismatch between table and text, between figures and text in the same paper. So that should not happen. That is why you should have an eye for detail. Then, yes, you should have service oriented mindset. Okay, service is the key. Your aim should be to provide the best service, best writing document, and even if you're not aware of certain aspect in your document, you should try to go online, learn, connect with people, learn. Basically, it all is about learning. So, if you have all these skills, then you already possess ideal qualities to start your career in medical writing. But even if you don't have some, it's okay. You can go ahead and learn. Okay. So, here comes the myth and fact. So the myth here I've written, there are too many myths and facts about pharmacognosy particularly. So here I've mentioned only the most common one. So the myth is very well known, and the fact, I would say, it's not known at all. So the myth is pharmacognosy professional can only find opportunities in research or enter the noble profession of teaching. Of course, these two are very good opportunities as long as you love it, you like to do it, you want to do it. But if you want to explore more, then what? So then the fact, most of the skills that you already possess can help you to start your career as a medical writer. So uh, this fact is not known by most of the students, most of the professionals. So they start with research opportunities most of the times, or they get into teaching, because either they don't know that they can start as a medical writer because they think that pharmacology students are preferred, they would be the one who would get the job, or there is lack of awareness that there is a field like medical writing. So it could be any one of the two. Now, what is medical writing? So we all know that it is related to science, but I would also call it an art. Okay, so it is both science and art. Why am I calling it an art? So basically it requires a lot of talent to communicate health and healthcare information to different audiences. Okay, I'll give you one example here. So a lot of people who know about medical writing, then you all would be knowing that different audiences means doctors or a patient. It could be anyone, caregiver, or a pharma professional, like anyone. Okay, so when we write for doctors, like for example, if I have to write a diabetes document for doctor, so initially I will begin with I won't write what diabetes is, but because the doctor already knows. Okay, so I will probably begin with the prevalence of diabetes with the most recent statistics. Okay, and then the mortality rates associated with it, the complications associated with it, right? But when I have to write for patient, so a lot of people think that so what's there, like we can use AI and we'll just copy paste the data and we'll ask AI to convert it to into a simple language for patient. So what AI will do? AI will just say that diabetes is highly prevalent, because these are all normal English language. So if suppose XYZ percent prevalence across the world, ABC percent people died of diabetes in the year, in the most recent year, whatever statistics is there, and XYZ percent of people have complications related to diabetes. Imagine you are giving the document to a patient, diabetes patient, to read, and you'll start with such a thing that okay, it is so much, the prevalence is so high, and so many people already died of diabetes. What will the patient feel? Won't the patient get frightened, like extremely scared, what's going to happen to me now? So it's not just about simplifying the language, you have to do a lot more. You cannot write it, you need to show some sympathy, like some attachment, some emotions, not sympathy, I would say emotions is the right term. Like when you're writing for humans, right? When you write for doctors, you need to create awareness, you need to show them the statistics data, but when you write for patients, you should have emotions. It's not just about simplifying the language. So yeah, this is a question that comes very frequently: will AI replace medical writers? So the answer to that question also you got. So AI cannot replace medical writers. AI can help medical writers, support medical writers. Probably uh, before AI, if you could write one particular document in 5 days, now you can write probably two similar documents in 5 days, or maybe 7 days. But it cannot replace you. It can help you. That's all. So medical writing has grown significantly in India in the last couple of decades. Okay, and of course, a lot of people are getting into this job. It is the most commonly outsourced, one of the most commonly outsourced activity. It is globally in demand. Okay, there are a lot of websites where people across the world outside outsource it to people from another country. Okay, there are certain countries or certain areas in the world where people don't speak English, and they need support because they want to publish paper in English so that it is read by more, the higher reach. Okay, so that's where the medical writers come in. Now we will speak specially about pharmacognosy and medical writing and these skills. Okay, so you as a pharmacognosy professional, you have medical understanding because you did your B Pharm, you did your M Pharm, or you did your PhD in pharmacognosy. But during that time, you have read a lot of research papers, even though it was natural product research paper. But I know that while conducting pharmacognosy research, what we do is, if you choose a natural product and if you have to compare it, we select an already approved or standard comparator. Okay, in our in vitro studies, in our in vivo studies, in a lot of studies. Okay, so we go through the synthetic molecule papers also. Okay, drug development knowledge, that's something that you all have as a pharmacognosy professional. Knowledge of regulatory and safety domains. Okay, this is something that's not related to pharmacognosy, and it's not related to any college degree. Maybe a basic of it would be taught during our college days, but to have the detailed knowledge of it, you need to go around, connect with people who are already working in this field, and check with them what you need to read, where are the resources, what will help you to understand this area. Or you can even check online. So these days the digital world is so vast, you can just go online and check. But if you're unsure, suppose there are too many websites and there are contradictory information, then you can definitely connect with people. You can connect with me, uh, anyone who's experienced, and they'll definitely guide you. Maybe they'll take some time, a day, 2 days, a week, but they'll guide you. Then understanding of research methodologies, this is something that you all have, because while conducting your research, you have gone through that phase, like practically in life. There's nothing that was missed, right? You conducted, you initiated, you created a hypothesis. You thought that okay, this drug could be useful in this natural product could be useful in this, and then you proceeded, right? So you have a detail. Nobody other than you would be knowing. I'm not saying nobody as in nobody as in nobody other than a person who conducts a research knows about research methodologies. So basically, researchers would understand this better, right? Then ability to analyze, interpret, and present data. So during your masters, during your PhD, these days even during bachelors, all the science graduates, everyone presents in some or the other conferences. They present during the college seminars. Everyone has some kind of exposure. In case you don't have, then you should try to check out conferences that are happening around, which is relevant to pharmacognosy field. There are these international conference of Society of Pharmacognosy. There are a lot of conferences that happens around, you can check out. So you can go attend those conferences, present your data. You can go to a lot of conferences of medical writing also. I know you're not a medical writer right now, or maybe you are, I'm not sure. So if even if you're not a medical writer right now, you can go. There are medical writing conferences, attend those, connect with people, ask them like how to get into, like you can just build connection, networking it is called in the professional world. So that is very useful these days. You have the ability to analyze and interpret data that you are doing during your research work. Okay, so this skill also is there with you. Awareness of relevant regulations and guidelines, this is again not something that is missed in the pharmacognosy world. Like pharmacognosy students only miss it, it's not like that. Most of the students just have theoretical knowledge, and even you would be having same level of theoretical knowledge about it, right? So there's nothing like you should have inferiority complex or you are inferior, nothing like that. You are equally important and equally worthy of getting into medical writing. So, good writing skills and attention to details. That is something I spoke about before. So, yeah, you can even improve your writing skills by writing a research paper, writing review papers. So, the only when you practically apply your knowledge, then only it helps you learn more. It helps you improve. All the If you start publishing a paper today, no, you will only yourself understand that the first paper that you publish and the most recent paper that you publish will be so different in quality. I'm not saying that the first paper will be bad, but you will feel that you have improved so much over the period of time. So now, how can you transition? like if you are a pharmacognosy professional or even if you are a science graduate. But yeah, we will focus more on pharmacognosy professionals today. So these are the transitioning methods. Okay, explore and leverage your skills. We will speak about each point in detail in the coming slides. Add to your existing skills, understand the different options that are available, internships and networking. Exploring and leveraging your skills, it is very important, so first thing here, I would say, what happens is we don't try to understand what skills do we have. Okay, so while writing CVs also, what we do is we just write skills, list down the skills, like so many skills. But do you ever sit down and think what skills, like what are your strong skills which can help you in getting into medical writing if you really want to get into it, and how to use it? So if you have science background, that is definitely required. If you have work experience, then definitely you don't need to worry. But there are people who don't have work experience, just freshers. Okay, so now what you should do is you should start publishing your article. Now some people would find it difficult there also, because writing a publication, writing a research paper, you need to do research. Writing a review paper is easy, right? So then you should start writing a review paper. Find a guide in your college and ask her that if she would be okay in helping you in publishing a review paper, and you take initiative and then write. You can even gather a group of students and you all can divide sections, that I will write this section of this paper, you write this section, and then we will review each other's section. Okay, so that is one way to do it. Another thing that you can all do is start posting some blog somewhere, like even though it may not be preferred by all the employers, there are some healthcare blog writers who show samples in the LinkedIn. Okay, there's something called LinkedIn articles. So if you start writing LinkedIn articles, start writing your blogs in LinkedIn article section while applying for job. If you don't have any other sample, and if it is a creative medical writing job, then you can share those samples as samples, and if they're too attractive, then definitely the employer will consider you. So other than that, if I have to give you some options, then I would say that magazines. So if your college has magazines, so I know that it is fun to write fun related things, comic things, and all of that. Yeah, you should definitely enjoy your college days and write all of that. You should never miss it. But at the same time, you should try to write in the healthcare section also. Write some small engaging content or small informative section, like if it's not there in your college magazine, then you can approach your college council or college professors and ask them if they can create one, and you would love to write it. Okay, and if it is hard copy, okay, of the college magazine, then what you should try is you should ask them if they can make it digital also, because with digital you can just share the sample link to the employer while applying for the job. It becomes very easy and they don't have to check if the source is like correct source or not. When it's hard copy, like if you take, you can still share a sample by taking a photo of it, but then it's there are a lot of people who share someone else's sample. It becomes difficult to check, evaluate. But of course you, it's better than having nothing. So you should have some samples which you can create while studying only, or before getting into medical writing. Then identify the skills that are transferable. So if you are in another job, like which is not related to medical writing, or if you are still in college, so there are these other skills that you might be having, like project management, leadership, decision making, problem solving, time management. Time management is like required everywhere these days, because we do so many activities in such a small time that that skill is there with almost everyone. Okay, even if you're a student, you would be managing skills like managing time. So it is very difficult to manage time. That's what my understanding about time is. And if you are able to do that in any other area of life, you will be able to do it in the field of medical writing. So see what all skills do you have right now and which are transferable to the field of medical writing, and then write it down in your CV. Okay, I have these things. Okay, or you're a quick learner, so that is also another skill that you need. So about quick learning, I would say it's not like okay, you just have a paper in front of you, you read through it and you learned it. It's not like that with quick learning. Here I mean, suppose you write your first research paper, first review paper, okay, and you came across a lot of guidelines to write, you came across a lot of mistakes, somebody reviewed your guide, reviewed your paper, somebody reviewed your paper and showed you so many mistakes in your paper. It's okay, it's your first one, okay, but later while writing the next paper, you don't repeat any of these mistakes. Probably you may come up with a new set of mistakes, that's completely fine, but these mistakes are not repeated. That is what I mean by quick learner. Okay, so while writing your first paper only, all the mistakes that were highlighted, you learn from your mistake and you have not repeated. Better thing to do is learn from other people's mistakes. So if your friend is writing a paper and if your friend needs support just to review, but you won't get an authorship or something, it's okay to not get authorship, to not get acknowledged, but you get to learn, right? So you support in reviewing, so you will understand, okay, these mistakes is what my friend did while writing, so I should not be doing it. So that's the best way to learn. Then providing evidence. Okay, so adding to your existing skills here, that is the thing that we are going to discuss. Provide evidence. This is what I said. Showcase your skills. Once you create samples, you will have enough skills to showcase. You will have evidence that okay, I have the skills. I'm writing it on my CV, and you can go to this particular website or this particular research paper and see that I really have these skills. Okay, then how to provide evidence, I already discussed with you. Start your own blog. There's this app called Medium also. A lot of writers these days post on Medium, so you can write on Medium and share those articles also if you want to get into creative medical writing. Okay, then you can publish in newsletters also, newspapers, magazines, any chance that you get to write on healthcare. And if you want to become a medical writer, don't miss that opportunity, start writing. Okay, then publish your research in reputed journals. Here, if you'll see under the section how to provide evidence, the last bullet I've written, last line, publish your research in reputed journal. Okay, that makes a lot of difference. We will be speaking about it in subsequent slides. So then another adding way to add to your existing skills is courses and certifications. So this digital world, there are so many courses, so many certifications available. I would just tell you, don't run behind certificates. Okay, you may have hundreds of certificates. There are people who have like list of certificates in their CV. Their CV becomes like 2-3 pages CV, 5 pages CV with certificates, conferences attended and all. But when we talk, or a lot of papers published also, but when we talk to them, uh, it doesn't feel like the CV and the person matches. Okay, it's a complete mismatch. So then, of course, eventually while hiring, I want the person. I don't want the CV to be hired, right? I am hiring the person. So you should try to build the skill. You do the courses, you take the certificate, but do it with the intention of learning. Okay. So if you are doing a courses, if there are free webinars like Manoj sir uh, creates these sessions every Saturday. These are free webinars. You're not getting any certificate. I'm not sure about the certificate part, but there are many such free webinars without certifications and all, but they teach you a lot. Okay, so go attend webinars, go attend seminars. If you don't want to pay, then free webinars are good. If you can pay, then go for a better, like bigger web sessions, seminar, conferences, and meet people, network with them. attend courses. There are free courses, there are a lot of courses on there are applications like Coursera and Udemy. So in Coursera there are a lot of courses which allows you to register for it. You won't get a certificate if you don't pay, but you can register, attend the entire course. So it's completely up to you. If you want certificate, you pay, otherwise you just go for learning. And I'm telling this to you with a personal experience. I've also completed courses without certifications because I don't need to prove, like, needed those certificates. But I had decided before registration only, the day if I feel I need the certificates to showcase in my CV, I will pay and get the certificates. So just I'm just focusing on learning. So go for learning, okay? Never say no to learning. Then why should you publish? Till now I focused a lot of publishing article in reputed journals and all of that. So even the Medical Council of India, Pharmacy Council of India, they also expect teachers to publish at least 2 research papers to be eligible for promotion. I believe it is 2. Okay. Then only articles published in journals indexed with certain indexing agencies such as PubMed and Medline, Embase are considered. So here the word reputed comes into picture. Okay. So there are a lot of journals which are called predatory journals. Okay. So they do not add value. So we will speak about those journals in the coming slides. So you should find out in which journal are you publishing your research paper or your review paper. Just publishing. So there are some journals which take some money and promises to publish in a day or two, and they do that. Okay. There is no plagiarism check, there is no quality check, no checks at all. You just submit a paper, it gets published. The sad part is your publication goes waste because you cannot show it to an employer. Like, employer will not consider you if it is not a reputed journal. So that is where quality over quantity comes into picture. So rather than having 10 published paper to increase the length of your CV, like I have 10 published paper under my name and I have written all those 10, you can only publish one paper with a very reputed PubMed index journal with high impact factor, which is open access. Okay. So there are journals which have open access, means a reader doesn't have to pay to read that entire article, whereas some journals do not have open access, where the reader, if they want to read the entire article, they have to pay, and not everyone can afford to pay, and a lot of people prefer not to pay and read those articles. Like, those issues are there, so they won't be able to read your article, right? Then there are hybrid journals also, which gives you an option to pay in and publish it open access, or not pay and only the abstract will be visible. So go for, like, as a student I would recommend you go for open access journal, a journal which has good indexing, like it is PubMed indexed. Then the publication frequency is something that I personally check, like if it has monthly issue and all, so then it's comparatively faster publication compared to quarterly issues. Then peer review process, what is the process, how long? So if you go to a journal's website, you will see time to first decision. So after you submit a paper, there will be a first decision whether the paper is suitable for this journal or not. Okay. Some journals even recommend your paper to their sister journal, so there you don't have to update much according to the guidelines, because guidelines would be same, but their sister journal will directly take it up once you approve it. So the process you can see, like what is the process, who are the readers of the journal. So basically, the more the number of readers for your paper, the more the chances of it getting cited in other papers. Okay, the value of your paper will go up. So having one good paper that you can show to your employer, like to the job for which you are applying, is better than having 10 papers of poor quality published in some predatory journals, which has some errors, and which the paper is not of good enough quality. So here we will speak about predatory journals. Journals, sorry. So journals, there are journals that claim to be legitimate, but they are solely for profit. So I, in my opinion, I have never come across a journal, a reputed journal, that charges you for submission. There are publication charges, article publication charges, APC, which is there in a lot of journals, a lot of reputed journals, that is there. But for submission, you don't have to pay anything. At least I've never come across, but you should check if you come across any, if it is a reputed journal or a predatory journal. Always check the publisher of the journal. Like Wiley is a reputed publisher, elsewhere there are many reputed publishers, so you should check your journal comes under which publisher. Then the impact factor of the journal, check the most recent impact factor of the journal in the journal's website itself. So there are a lot of these .coms, blogs and all available online, so they also publish impact factor and all. But I would personally recommend you should go to the journal website and check the impact factor of the journal. Then articles issued and issues published. Okay, so if you are choosing a journal for your XYZ research, what I personally do is I shortlist a few journals. I write down their impact factor, I write down the publishers. So and then I go to the journal website and I check the most recent issues from that journal, and I check if my kind of article is published in that journal. Okay, if this kind of article is not accepted, then it would be inappropriate to submit in that journal, because it may not get rejected because of quality or something. It will get rejected because it's not suitable for that journal, and we will also end up wasting time waiting for that journal's first decision. And the journal's reviewer, editor, they will also, like, their time is precious. There are so many researchers waiting for their research to get published, so then they will also have to spend time to go through it to decide. Okay, so you only check if your article is suitable for a particular journal. Indexing, again, I personally prefer PubMed index journal only, because researchers, writers, everyone, PubMed is the most commonly used source, like where we go and search for articles. So the chances of increased readership for my article would be there if my article is PubMed indexed. Okay, so about predatory journals, another way to check predatory journals is, if you go to a predatory journals website, before, like, you would not be knowing it's a predatory journal, of course. So you will go to the website, you will check, everything will look fine, good enough. Okay, then probably it won't charge you while submitting the article, so it's difficult to understand. Then you can check indexing. Okay, if you want PubMed index journal only, and if it says PubMed indexing, then you go to their recent issues, or maybe 1 year back, 2 years back, and copy paste the title of any article into PubMed. If you can't see it and the journal says it is PubMed index, then you should check other details about the journal also. Okay, so what happens when you publish in a predatory journal? So, what if your article, now your question would be, what if my article is of very good quality and I ended up submitting in a predatory journal and it got published? So, will the employer go through the article? Yes, the employer will definitely check the article quality and everything. But what will happen is, the recognition for the article will be less. You cannot, once an article goes in public domain, the journal gets a copyright. Okay, you cannot republish it in another reputed journal. Then it's very difficult. Your article is already out there and you cannot publish it again, you cannot take it back, withdraw it, like, unless and until there would be certain reasons. But they are very different. You cannot just like that withdraw any article from a journal. So it is very difficult. You will lose your work. Like, probably you may have won awards for your research and you ended up publishing in a predatory journal. So that is very sad, right? So be cautious. Then understand the different types of writing. So you, as a pharmacognosy professional, you are eligible for any kind of writing. That is something I want you to know. And you are as much eligible as your pharmacology peers or as any other healthcare or science background person. Okay, so these are the different types of writing. Before getting into medical writing, if you know a little bit about these things, then it will be good. Like, imagine you get into publication writing for say, and then you find it very monotonous, boring, because it's too technical, and you felt like, okay, writing is going to be creative, fun and all, because you got into the wrong type of medical writing. There are other ones also, like magazine article, healthcare magazine article, health newspaper articles, healthcare news articles for newspapers. This is called medical journalism. You could have taken that up, or medical marketing. So there are these promotional literature, promotional documents that are written. Those are fun, probably for those who like the medical marketing documents. So you should know that these are the type of documents that are involved in medical writing, and what would you like. So there is this medical education textbooks, patient education material, then publication, journal articles, abstracts and posters for conferences, presentations for conferences, then research documents. So there are these research proposals also, which a lot of PhDs write, I think, during their PhD time only. So they have an exposure to it. Then regulatory documents, this include the clinical trial report, clinical trial protocols, all these things, informed consent document. So getting into regulatory writing is a little difficult as compared to other types, especially without experience. But suppose you like one type of writing, but you are getting a job in another type of writing, and if you ask me my opinion whether you should take it up or not, so it's completely up to you. But I would suggest that you can take that up and later switch to the other type of writing. If you still don't like it after writing it for a while, then you can, it's easy to switch between two types of medical writing rather than switching from one completely new stream to medical writing or starting as a fresher. Okay, so don't be too rigid. If you want to get into medical writing, any type of writing you get, I my personal suggestion would be you should go ahead and take it up. But of course, it's completely your choice. Internships. So I spoke a lot about learning throughout the session. Internships are the best way to learn about medical writing. So there are a lot of websites like ICH. There's a website equator.org which gives guidelines about different type of papers, okay, research papers, review papers, all of that. uh, there are many websites to learn. You can read theoretically, you can learn by reading theories. That is completely fine. Yes, reading is good, it helps you gain knowledge, it helps you feel the adventure just by sitting at one place. If it's like a magazine or a newspaper article reading, or some major statistics in some small village in some other corner of the world which is facing uh, some healthcare issue which is very new, and it's very different to read. Okay, I completely understand that reading is good, but internships, like, they are the best way to gain hands on experience for any job, not just medical writing. So if you are getting an internship opportunity, regardless of whether it's paid or unpaid, it's the best way to start. First thing is, you'll get to learn, you'll get to see the different type of documents live. You will also get to develop the soft skills, the other skills that are required, like while speaking to your manager, while, like, how they talk to the clients, or how they do the job, write a document, they review a document, they edit a document, like everything. Like, I would even say that you can even learn not what not to do, rather than just learning what is to be done. Okay, there are some people who would be having some negative points also, which, like, if I have some negative points, I won't be able to understand it, but others will be able to see it. Okay, she is behaving like this in this particular situation, right? So learning from others mistakes is the best way, right? So doing internships also, you'll get to learn a lot of things. Even if you are not given major tasks, you will be given some minor task, writing some small blogs or writing something, and you should go ahead and take it up. And it will be a big highlight on your CV. You will create a bond with your employer, and if you are a very dedicated person during your internship, then the employer may hire you or recommend you to somebody else. But yeah, if you are doing internship, then do it in a very dedicated way, because otherwise it's like adding a negative. Like, go, suppose you are at zero right now, and if you do in a dedicated way, if you get an internship opportunity, do it in a negative way, in a positive way, in a dedicated way, you will be like plus. But if you do it in a like, okay, it's just internship, I'm just doing it for certificate and all. From zero, rather than going up, you'll go a little down, because that particular employer will not consider you. Dedication, ethics, honesty, these are the foundation of any kind of jobs. Okay, so you need to be dedicated, honest, and ethical. Like, never share the data with anybody else, verbal, written, any form, because all these data hold a lot of value. And even though there are confidentiality agreements, there are a lot of agreements, there are a lot of securities on the laptops, some, it's also trust. Okay, and trust is the foundation, so be careful. One second. Okay, networking. So networking, I said a lot about conferences and all. So the best way, which these days all the students are aware of, is networking through LinkedIn. Okay, so when I was in my degree, I was not aware of networking at all. When people use the word networking, I used to think that, okay, they're speaking about social medias like Instagram and all. They will connect and they'll have so many followers and they'll earn. I didn't know that networking means like professional networking. And even when I understood, okay, there's something called professional networking, it took me some time to understand like how to do it. So LinkedIn is the in my opinion, LinkedIn is the best platform to build your professional network. So you can connect with people who are already medical writers, you can connect with employers. You There are a lot of people conducting free webinars just like Manoj sir. So you can go through pages, you can check out their webinar times. There are a lot of westerners also. So see, uh, other than Indian webinars, you should also attend these foreign webinars. There are a lot of free ones also. Reason being, I'll give you example. For example, regulatory documents. Okay, so in regulatory documents, what happens is when we write it for DCGI, it's a little different as compared to when we write it for FDA. It's not completely different. The main core stays the same. So a person who writes it for FDA will be able to write it for DCGI. A person who writes it for DCGI will be able to write it for FDA. But if you attend those sessions, you'll get to learn. You'll get to learn the minor differences that are there, right? So never lose an opportunity to learn. There are a lot of medical writing groups also on LinkedIn that also you can join. That will help you a lot. Job vacancies. So there are a lot of job vacancies that are posted on LinkedIn, but be careful when you apply for a job vacancy through LinkedIn, because these days a lot of fake job vacancies are also there. So it should not be like, okay, this Raisa recommended us to apply for jobs through this portal, and then this is happening. So be careful. Whatever you do, whatever I'm telling you, you have to be very careful whenever you do. You take up a course, be careful, like, to where the course is being taken from, to whom are you paying. If you are paying for a seminar, if you are paying for a webinar, for a conference, you have to be careful. Okay, other networking methods is conference. That's the best way, like, in my opinion, that's the best way. Then career progress after you become a medical writer. Okay, so now when you have enough to showcase to your employer, to the person offering a job, and you get into one, okay, then you need to progress in your career, right? So progress as a student means financial progress. I know that everyone thinks of finances when it comes to progress in career. Okay, how much will I earn in the beginning? How much will I earn after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? Nobody thinks of, okay, how much will I learn after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? It uh, Probably you might be thinking that because I'm sitting on this side of the screen, I'm speaking about, okay, how much did I learn? But it's not like that. Finance, like, the money comes with learning. Okay, people pay you for your experience as well as your knowledge. It's not just the number of years that you spent in the field, it's also your knowledge. So after gaining some experience, you can even get promoted to managerial positions. You can become a freelance writer, or you can start on your own and be an entrepreneur. So to become a freelance writer, a lot of students have been coming to me asking, okay, I want to be a freelance writer. That's not how you do it. You should always gain hands on experience in writing, then only you can apply for a freelance writer's position. Because unlike full time writers who are trained during their 9 to 5 jobs, like, okay, you are supposed to write this particular document in this particular way, this is a sample, you go through it, read through it, take your time, understand, and then start writing. And then there will be a reviewer to review their document, and then they will learn as they progress. But freelancing is completely different. You are on your own. Okay, somebody will give you a document and ask you to write, like somebody will give you the title and the name of the medication, and then they'll ask you to write a clinical trial protocol, and you as a student have applied for that job. What will you do? It is very difficult. Like, just by going through websites and learning theoretically, it is not possible. So if somebody will give you to write some research paper without, if you don't have any prior experience, and they will tell you to write a research paper as a freelancer, it's very difficult. Yeah, the one thing that you can apply for, I think, is blog writing. Okay, healthcare blogs you can write if you read a lot online. You have to read different blogs, but there also you should understand the difference between UK and US English, then basics of styling like spacing and paragraph settings, what they want. If they want any image in that, then you should know which images are free. All the Google images are not free. You cannot just copy paste an image from Google and say that, okay, I'll use it for my blog. So you need to check, like, these things are also required. So even if you write blogs as a freelance writer without any prior experience, then also you need to understand these things, and referencing styles in blogs, if the blog requires citations or not. So some blogs do not need citations, some blogs do. Then what kind of a language do you need to use, if it is for what kind of audience. All these things you need to know. So that is why it's a very tough job to be a freelance writer, especially if you don't have a prior experience. So once you have enough experience, then definitely freelancing will give you the freedom to work any time of the day and from any place. But of course, it's not like, okay, you don't work and you earn it. It also needs a lot of time, efforts, energy, everything. So it everything requires dedication. Now, 5 key takeaways from this session. One second. So these are the main 5 takeaways that I would appreciate if you could all remember this. So one is breaking myths. You should know, you should value yourself, you should know your worth, because value creates value, as I said before. Okay, so you should understand why pharmacognosy professionals have untapped potential in medical writing. You do have this potential, and you can be as good as your pharmacology peers. Okay, so there is nothing like you cannot get into this field. It's it's as tough for you as it is for them. It's as easy for you as it is for them. Okay, so just don't have any inferiority complex. Go with confidence and you can do it. Second is skill set development. So find, list down the skills on a paper that you have, then try to improve those skills. Okay, because they become your core skills. List down the skills that a medical writer needs and you don't have, then try to develop those skills. And then certifications, of course certifications are important, have value only if you have that knowledge. Like, if you have a certificate, then you should have the knowledge of a. If you don't know to write a, but you have a certificate that you have done a 1 month course or 10 months course on writing a letter, and you cannot write even the one slanting line of a, then it does not add any sense. Okay, so yeah, certifications have value only if you have the knowledge. Then publish to shine. Okay, publishing a paper is the best way, and especially if you are in your college, then your guide is there directly to help you, to support you how to write. Your guide can even help you connect with your seniors. Okay, you can check with your guide if any of your seniors are medical writers, or you can check with her, or probably you can check the past thesis and check the names and go on LinkedIn and see if they are medical writers, and you can connect with them, ask them to support you. And to choose a high impact factor journal, which journal is good. Suppose, see, I'm not saying that you just approach somebody and say, okay, give me a journal that I can publish this paper in. Okay, what you should do is put in some effort, list down probably 3 4 journals that you liked, and then send the details of that journal to somebody you are approaching for help, and ask them which journal would be more suitable to publish this title paper of mine. You should not share the data, that is not preferred, but and you should share the title also with somebody who's experienced in the field, and somebody you trust. And then that person may guide you. Okay, even your guide can be of like very good help. You should approach your guide, you should be very clear that I want to get into this field, could you please help me, like that. Then step by step guide. Okay, I so we discussed a clear roadmap, but still I will try to discuss about it in a very concise manner here. So now, if you're studying or if you are doing any other job other than medical writing and you want to get into medical writing, and you are from a pharmacognosy background, okay, what you should do is create some samples for you, either by writing a research paper, writing a review paper, writing blogs, or writing in a magazine healthcare articles. Any other way, you should try start finding it out. It is a little difficult to find out which one would you be able to write, but start finding it out, right? Once you write it, put it in your CV, put it in your LinkedIn post, everywhere. Okay, wherever possible, wherever you can showcase your skills, put it, and then send it across to employers that you have this kind of experience. You can also, what you can do is, if you're currently doing a job which is not medical writing, but it is somewhat relevant. Okay, for example, you are in medico marketing, where you are mostly taking care of the marketing part and somebody else is writing. So there, what you can do is, you would be the reviewing person also, right, for this medical content. So then you can say that, okay, I have reviewed these particular type of documents over a period of these many years, and now I would like to write them myself. Okay, or if you are a medical reviewer or medical editor, then also you can say that I have worked on these many documents, and now I'm sure that I can write these documents, and I have written a few I've published a few papers, or I've written a few blogs. Please go through the samples and see if I'm eligible, because I have similar experience but not the same experience. So this is how you can approach people. Okay, then other than that, career. Now that you know that pharmacognosy, natural products are so commonly in use, and people are trying to understand the molecules that are available in natural products and to synthesize a better version of it by changing a moiety in the molecule and all of that. So you know that it is important, you know your value, right? So you can always link by saying that you would be a good fit to write probably a natural product paper, or you would be a good fit to write. There are a lot of nutritionists, dietitians, physiotherapists who are also writers. So how they link their education with their career is, they are the perfect fit for writing uh, nutrition related papers. They are the perfect fit for writing physical exercise and physiotherapy related papers, or dental papers for dentists. So that's how they relate. Okay, and they are also high in demand. So similarly, you can also say that you are the perfect fit to write on a paper, write a paper which is on a natural product. So that would be the perfect thing to showcase that, okay, nobody other than you would be a perfect fit for this. Okay, so these are the 5 key takeaways from this session. Thank you. In case you have any question, doubt, you can ask now. I will.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Raisa. It was an excellent presentation, I must say. So we'll stop sharing the screen and we'll open up for Q&As, and participants on YouTube and on Zoom, please make a note of your questions. There are two ways you can ask the questions. Number one, of course, you can unmute and talk. And number two is you can put in the chat box. I'll read the question for you, just in case you don't want to do that. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So the first question will be from Dr. Priyanka. Dr. Priyanka, yes, you can unmute and talk.
Hello, thank you, sir. Hi, Raisa. Very nice presentation. Thank you. So, I wanted to understand the impact of AI on the medical writing field.
Okay. Thank you for your appreciation. And okay, very nice question. So, a lot of people think that AI is going to replace medical writers. That's not the case. So, if you have used ChatGPT, the common ones, Perplexity or Meta, you would be knowing that AIs are good helpers, but they cannot do the work. Okay, I'll give you one example. If you'll post an article on AI, research article on AI, and if you'll ask it to write an abstract from that article, it will write a very good abstract, but there will be errors here and there. There will be, so if it's a research on clinical trials, suppose, okay, in abstract it is mandatory to mention the clinical trial number, but AI doesn't know that, it won't mention it. Okay, so even if it writes a perfect article from start to end, that one clinical trial registration number would be missing. Okay, although it does not create that perfect abstract for us, but I'm just giving you, like, even if it does, then also there is something missing. So now that it does not do it, so medical writers will are not under threat. But another example I would tell you is how we can use AI and increase our speed. If you are a freelance writer, you can write a lot more in that shorter time. Okay, so if you want to create an abstract, you can put the article, it will create an abstract, you know, some key points. Okay, then you go into the article and start reading what AI has missed, you can add. Okay, other than that, whatever AI has added, you need to verify that. So a lot of journals allow you to acknowledge AI, but it doesn't, they don't allow to put AI as author, because even if you acknowledge AI, you need to mention that I have used this AI, but the eventual responsibility is of the author, because they also know that AI cannot be blamed for the mistakes it does. It is eventually not a living organism, like living person, to blame, to be blamed.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
thank you.
So
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you. And don't worry about AI, Dr. Priyanka. AI has been there for many more years. The only thing is we are seeing its evolution in the last couple of years. I'm sure most of you remember Microsoft Word, right? When it was started initially, it had the autocorrect feature.
uh,
That was also very similar to AI, right? But then we never, worried about it. Why? Because we wanted to use it for our benefit, and of course, it is to supplement our work, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely
thank you, sir.
perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Priyanka. Any specific questions you have? Anyone in the, group here, you may please ask. And this session is all about sharing knowledge and transforming our learnings, right? We alone cannot do much things here, but that's the reason we are in a group trying to learn here. And everybody on YouTube also, if you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask in the chat box, and we'll try to take up those questions. Raisa, one question, I was thinking for since a long time. You started your entrepreneurial journey soon after, having some experience as a medical writer and working with a couple of brands, right? Did you face any challenges specific to, because of the pharmacognosy background as such?
No, because I had experience in medical writing, it was not that difficult. But yeah, there are a lot of instances that where people ask, okay, why pharmacognosy and then medical writing?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I just want to tell people, like, I always answer them like, first thing, I am a person who chose pharmacognosy with a very good all India rank. So it is not something that I did not have an option and I went for it. Second thing is, I always tell them that all the master students, regardless of the core subject in pharma, we all put in similar kind of efforts. We all are do the analysis also. We all do everything else. Of course, animal studies are not done by all the others. It's our personal choice. If we want to, we can. It's
Yeah,
done only by pharmacology students. But eventually, writing the thesis is the main part, which we all do. So
yeah,
we are all equally eligible for medical writing. That's what I answer to them.
yeah.
Some people get convinced, some don't.
But
That's
that's okay.
okay.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And since I also come from pharmacognosy background and it's been 17 long years in this domain, initial stages, of course, there were a lot of self-doubts also. And
Yes,
apart from the doubts created by the community as such regarding pharmacognosy as a leftover subject
yes,
for majority of us. But then yes, it does not really matter. All that matters is our curiosity to learn and learn new things, because medical writing is probably the only domain that helps us to learn every single day, every single moment. And every single day when we get up, we have something new to learn. This is
yes,
this is a flexibility that is provided with this wonderful field, medical writing. And there is no limit to learning any subject, any domain whatsoever in case of medical writing. Still, if I have to give my own example, I'm still struggling to do good in medical writing specific to oncology as a domain. But then, yes, I'm sure it'll take some more, number of months to learn oncology. I started recently, about 7, 8 months back, working on oncology topics. But then, yes, it'll take some more time for me to, push little, ahead for others and then learn this
yeah,
topic. But then, yes, it's not a difficult thing. We can all learn, and as long as we put our efforts, we stay curious, it is definitely not a big deal. All right. So, any other questions, participants in the chat box? Let us know. If there are no questions, then thank you so much for your time. And
yes.
yeah, so all right. I don't see any questions. There are no questions on YouTube as well. So
Okay.
Raisa, on behalf of all of the attendees, and I'm sure this, replay of the session will be available to everyone post the session as well. And all of them who are registered on Zoom, they'll get an email with your LinkedIn profile link and the recording of the session. So my suggestion to all of you who are listening to me right now, please do connect with Raisa. She is a very good pharmacist and definitely a good mentor. You'll definitely learn a lot of things with her. And if you're a person who's looking for getting your medical writing work done, please do connect with her as well. She'll definitely help you out. So thank you so much, Raisa, for being here with us and helping us learn a lot of things. I would like to express my gratitude for your insightful presentation
Thank
and
you.
helping our pharmacognosy professionals to get into medical writing. I'm sure your personal journey and your practical advice, whatever we referred to in the session today, will inspire many, many pharmacy professionals, specifically pharmacognosy professionals who always feel like, they're always, not given so much of importance in the pharmaceutical domain. And you busted a lot of myths, right? And
Yes,
I personally feel that one of the reasons why these myths, stay still is because we always focused on the traditional career paths. That is number one
yes,
option. And number two is we always had the self-doubts somewhere, back of the
yes.
mind, either because of our own self or because of people around us
Uh,
who help us in, creating those self-doubts, and they don't care, they don't help us boost our mindset to come out of these self-doubt. So that may be one reason. The second is the importance of publishing at the earlier stage of our career is absolutely important because it helps us to build a powerful portfolio, right?
yes,
And this is something, when we are at the college level, we neglect this. And only when we come out of the college, we realize this, right? So, your session will definitely inspire pharmacy professionals to start publishing right when they are in the in their degrees and masters. So that I recently, I was talking to one of the college principals, and she told me that even for B Farm students, they've started helping them to publish papers. That's great, right? So
nice.
That's very good. I mean, B.Pharm students are expected to publish at least two papers by the time they complete their Pharmacy education. This is really great, and definitely, when they come to their M.Pharm, they can still publish two more papers. So by the time they complete, they'll have four papers at least, and this will definitely help them build a powerful portfolio. Another very important thing that you discussed was various types of medical writing. And understanding these types of medical writing is a powerful way to explore our own skills and learnings and try different ways of creating content. Uh, One reminder that you gave is to leverage networking and internship opportunities. So, right at the college level, if they start networking, then definitely they'll not have this difficulty of, exploring careers when they come out of the college, right? I see most of the students, they don't network early and they start connecting with us only when they have completed the course, which is,
Yeah,
which is,
which is quite late actually.
yeah, which is quite late. And for us also, it becomes challenging because we would not have known the students. And networking and referral happens only when, the people are known to each other, right?
Yeah.
So networking at the early stage definitely helps because we should know each other's skill and then only we refer, right? So your guidance will definitely help a lot of pharmacy professionals to, plan their career paths. And I must thank you for your generously sharing all the time and expertise with all of us. Thank you so much. And
Thank you for inviting.
thank you so much, Raisa. And one more request, probably, since you own a company and you might be hiring a lot of, pharmacy students and professionals for your, organization as
Yes,
well.
yes,
Maybe if you offer any kind of internships or any
yes,
freelance opportunities, do let us know. And maybe definitely LinkedIn is a place where you could definitely post. I'll also share with my network. So this way we can create a closed community where people can
yes,
help each other. And also you get a lot of good
yes,
quality writers. Plus
yes,
these people, they get some kind of experience and
yes,
some kind of certificate from your organization. And this will definitely help them boost their confidence as well, right? So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
can we do that?
Yes, yes, definitely. In fact, I keep hiring interns out of my like two interns completed their internship, and I recently hired one of them as full-time employee. So,
Excellent.
I will give you one example. So, a lot of people, this internship, these were the first set of interns. So, it was an unpaid internship, and a lot of people students did not prefer it. Okay. What happened is after the completion of internship, the same students are still waiting to get a job, whereas one of my interns already got a job with me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm not saying that you should go for unpaid, but if you're not getting anything else, then see, like, it was a remote internship, so there was no expense of traveling to office. You just had to give time, and there was not much work pressure. I understand that during internship, I should not uh, torture them with so much work. I know that after college, they expect a little slow entry into the work life. So yeah, if you get internship opportunities also, if it's paid, great, unpaid, great. Like I understand. You should decide. You are the best person to decide for yourself. But go for it. Go for the learning.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And there have been a lot of instances where, I also share a lot of unpaid opportunities to people, and most of them, they don't prefer it just because they want to earn right from the first project itself, which is not practically possible, especially when we are not experienced, because most of the
Hmm.
companies, they prefer to have experience in the domain, right? So as you rightly said, whether it is paid or unpaid, if you get paid, great. If you don't get paid, it's okay, go for unpaid ones. At least you'll get experience and experience certificate, which will help you to push further and get good opportunities later on. And obviously, I have seen another very important thing. So whenever somebody joins as an unpaid intern, there is very high chance that that person gets absorbed within the organization, right? And depending
Yes.
on the way he or she performs. So that is a good thought, and definitely yes, we look forward to having a lot of interns in the upcoming days with you as well. So thank you so much, Raisa, and
Thank you.
thank you so much everyone for being here with us. And next week, we still will have a learning session. And next week, we'll talk about the opportunities in medical writing and also about the government opportunities with respect to publication. So stay connected, keep learning, and then, yes, thank you so much for being
Thank
here with
you.
me. Thank you so much, Raisa. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time. And we are closing the session on YouTube for now. Those of you who joined on YouTube, thank you so much.